Hi everyone, welcome back to my living room and to episode 9 of Sophia Talk. It's the last episode of February, which means I've now been here doing this every Wednesday for 2 months. So I want to extend a huge thank you to everybody who has stuck around and supported me and sent me lovely heartwarming messages, but to also say that something about the discipline of showing up here every Wednesday for 10 to 15 minutes to offload, vent and share my thoughts and feelings has been incredibly therapeutic. Something very, very cathartic about it, and I would highly recommend it. For me, it's something pretty standard because I've been to psychotherapy before, I've done group meetings before, I've been to Al-Anon meetings, so it's become easy for me to sit down and be vulnerable in front of other people. I can't say enough good things about doing this, because once it's out there, once your thoughts are out there, it helps you see them more clearly and can also help you prioritize and let go of some things that perhaps are bigger in here than they are in reality. So episode 9 is going to be about rebounding. And I think you know by now that you can watch these as standalone 10-minute videos, but there is also a logic to going back and watching them from episode 1, because I am steering these subjects according to my 4 pillars. And today, to wrap up on February, because we have invested a lot of time talking about things like patterns, habits, and tools in February, which is exactly what is so beneficial about sitting here today, because I've been consistent and I've been accountable and I've made sure that I'm doing it. So I want to just recap a little bit. Episode 1 was titled "This Is Me," and by now you know that the word me I use for various meanings, so across many layers. But in episode 1, I wanted to share my mission with you, which was very much to start raising mental health awareness, primarily in Cyprus, where it's still a taboo, but obviously far and beyond as well. I'm here because I want to destigmatize a topic that's very misunderstood. And I also have a voice, which I have been told on many occasions is quite loud and aggressive. I'm trying to be softer, but it's not working. And by me sitting here and being authentic, speaking my truth, being vulnerable, talking about my personal life, my private emotions, I'm hoping that I can give other people the confidence to speak out. But I'm also here advocating for those who feel they don't have the voice, because I want them to feel heard, seen, and understood. So episode 2 was mental health, and I can't believe I forgot to get it out, but I had my self-made contraption, which was the axis of physical health. And I likened it to the axis of mental health because I wanted to explain that we're all on this continuum throughout our lives. Nobody can say mental health is exclusively for those with mental illness. We all have mental health, and we will all slip and slide along that continuum of mental health throughout our lives. If we're lucky enough, we might never end up on the end of the spectrum, but we may not be able to escape that. So you can end up on the end of the spectrum where you need professional help. And it's good to know that when you do, there are people you can turn to, there is support, and there are things you can do to make sure you get better. So we spoke about the mental health continuum, and we also covered some of the misconceptions, why potentially it's such a misunderstood term, how quickly it grew from something we couldn't speak about to something people are encouraged to talk about, and how perhaps we were inadequately educated and informed in the meantime. Episode 3 was about reframing mental health. So I came and I suggested that, you know what, since it is misunderstood and people don't like it, it has all these negative connotations now and people are afraid of it, let's reframe it into mental empowerment, which is a mindset and an outlook on life and mental health that is far more optimistic, in the sense that it gives you agency, authority, power, control, autonomy, and even accountability over how you're feeling every day. Your belief system, your confidence. Are you looking at things with a negative lens? Are you shrouded in negativity? Do you have limiting beliefs that are holding you back from living your best life and from growing as an individual? And we spoke about coping strategies, about having the clarity and the self-awareness to understand why you are the way you are, why you behave the way you do, to surround ourselves with calm environments and calm people that make us feel better about ourselves and about life. The resilience, the developing skills and tools to allow you to be able to balance that equilibrium on your mental health axis. And then, of course, prevention, which was all about having the clarity, the calm, and the resilience to know when you need help and when you need to seek support. Finding Me was episode 4, and that was me taking the acronym of mental empowerment, me, and talking about self. Talking about the word me, which I find to be incredibly compassionate and nurturing. We spoke about that most important relationship in our lives being the one with ourselves, and how we need to put that oxygen mask on and look after ourselves with self-care and boundaries and mindfulness and growth before we can be of any use to anybody else, and before anybody else can love us. That was one of the sort of the comments that I made that is open to interpretation, but I do believe that it's true what they say, that, you know, nobody else can really love you until you love yourself, because you carry those doubts and insecurities with you wherever you go. So you do need to focus on self-care, self-respect, and self-love if you're going to have fruitful relationships. And then the last episode of that month was Algae, which was another acronym from the Mental Health First Aid course, which was all about mental health conditions, mental health disorders, and mental illness, because I did want to make it absolutely clear that I'm not a licensed psychotherapist, but I am here to help you know how to bridge that gap. So there are things you can do to support people who are on the end of the spectrum before you hand them over to a professional who can actually help them with their issues. And Algae stood for approach, assess, assist, listen and communicate non-judgmentally, give support and information, encourage people to get appropriate help, and encourage other support. So that was January 2025. And then in February, we moved into Wellbeing. Being well is all about mental health, your state of mind, and your ability to cope with the challenges in life. So we spoke about the wheel of wellness, well-being, also known as the wheel of life, and that 360 approach to our human existence, and the 8 areas of life, however you want to package them: physical, occupational, social, financial, intellectual, environmental, spiritual, emotional, and how if you look at those like a car tyre, if one of them is out of air, if one of them is out of whack, it will impact your balance on the mental health continuum. And then from holistic well-being, we moved on to our toolbox, and we looked a little bit at our ability and our motivation to use tools in our toolbox based on perhaps our past, our environment, our upbringing. We looked at the ACE scale, adverse childhood experiences and trauma. We looked at how that impacts our behavior and our coping mechanisms. We looked at automatic negative thoughts, ants, and the importance of our brain and our thoughts on how we behave on a daily basis. So that brought us to Atomic Habits last week, which was mainly based on the book, but all about those small incremental changes and how if we insert habits into our existing routine that are obvious, attractive, easy and satisfying, we can transform our lives by creating almost like a safety net. It's a system that allows you to fall back on something that can get you back on track faster if you're not feeling well. And James Clear, the author of this book, spoke all about identity-based habits, which is about, instead of setting yourself up for failure by saying, I'm going to read 52 books this year, or I'm going to run a marathon, by looking at who you want to become, you can reframe that into, this year I'm going to become a runner, this year I'm going to become a reader. Sustainable results with incremental changes in habit stacking throughout the day. And that brings us to today's episode, Rebound Faster, which is exactly what I need to talk about today. I have had a horrendous week on a very human level, on a very personal level. I'm sitting here seemingly preaching to you all, but I'm far from perfect. I'm on a journey of self-growth, and I'm a better version of the Sophia that I was last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but I need a lot of work. This week I've had to grieve the loss of a relationship that was very important to me. So I'm dealing with a lot of emotional distress, and I'm not very good at that because I'm the kind of person who just gets up and go, and I block things out because I'm always, reaching for the stars. I'm always trying to achieve. I'm one of these high achieving people who prefers not to deal with weaknesses. Even though I acknowledge that they're there, I'd rather just ignore them. So I've been dealing with that. We had a couple of hiccups, scares with mum's health this week. She's fine, touch wood, but that was something incredibly draining because you do worry about your loved ones all the time. A few challenges at work. And I've also got a horrendous problem with the muscles in my neck and my spine. So I'm in physio, which means I haven't been running. So the knock-on effect of all these things that we spoke about on the mental health continuum, it's like if you can't do your exercise for a whole week, it will impact your energy. It will impact how you feel. It might have a knock-on effect on what you eat. It might encourage you to just binge watch Netflix rather than do something you would normally do in a week when you were feeling really like, satisfyingly proactive. And it's like a domino effect, one thing after the other. So this week I've really done no exercise. I've had moments of feeling really low, where I thought, okay, at least I can read a book, but I just don't have the energy to do anything. I don't want to socialize. So these things happen. And, last week I did tell you that I would run you through my daily rituals. And we spoke very briefly about my new habit stacking over the last 4 years, how I wake up and I open the balcony door, I get some fresh air while I'm reading my book. Then I'll get up and I'll make my bed, always make your bed. And then I'll do my lemon water to clear my system. I'll go out to the balcony and do my breathing exercises and get some sunlight to wake me up. I'll do some meditation. I'll write my journal, my gratitude list. I will set out my intention for the day so that I'm feeling, all geared up and ready to go. I'll pamper myself, and then, I will eat properly. I have a food plan that has become so much second nature now that I'm always eating well, unless I relapse. But I'm faster to rebound now because I have that food plan set in stone. I drink lots of water. I drink tea. I avoid alcohol unless it's the weekend. I do my 5K run most mornings. I haven't done for a whole week. I'll do my exercises. And there's other things I'll do on the weekend. I have my face yoga, face gym, whatever you call it. I have my monthly face labs. I do things for me. And it's all beautifully ritualed. I'm making that a verb. And I'm very happy with the system that I've created with myself. But I swear to God, this week, I struggled to do at least 6 of the 10 things that I do every day. And the reason why I'm so grateful for all of these things that I've learned and that I'm sharing with you after years of research and reading and podcasting and psychotherapy and programs and courses is because I want to save you the hassle. Even if you have off days, even if you have off weekends, even if you have a bender of binge drinking, or, you know, even if you have a pizza and you say to yourself, well, do you know what? I messed up my diet last night, so I'm just going to eat like a pig until Monday and start watching my weight again on Monday. We all do these things. We're human. But if you have these systems in place, if you have the self-awareness, if you have the clarity, and if you care about your mental health, if you care about your well-being, if you care about your car tyre, you will rebound faster. And you must never underestimate the ability that you have to pick yourself up when you fall. You can't pressure yourself to do it automatically all the time, but at least if you've done the groundwork and it's there, you have something to grab hold of. And that's my wish to you for the month of February. I hope that some messages of holistic well-being have stuck with you. And next month is going to be the really vulnerable month for me, because we're going to dig into my relationship with mental health, and it's going to get a little bit up close and personal. Thank you so much for sticking with me. See you in March.